Hey guys, just a quick showcase of a build I'm using. Spark with cast on crit Doedre I'm doing with cast on crit arc. I'm sure I wasn't the first person to use this interaction, but since I'm not a build creator, I did not did much of a research and I haven't really checked if others did it before me. Here is one map and one tier 3 breach just to show you clean clear and DPS on boss. Also, I did a full trial of Sekamas multiple times on this, and it feels really comfy and really safe, despite being a bit squishy. After this, I'm just gonna go to quick explanation how it works, and I'm gonna show you my gear, and then we're just gonna wrap it up. Okay, let's quickly go over my gem setup. So, first, we using as Blood Mage, we using Life Remanents with Harmonic Remanents 2, Remanents Potency, and Katala's Rejuvenation to help me sustain my life and just helps clear the maps. We using Sigil of Power on Weapon Swap, not necessary, but it's something that just helps. Spark is being supported by Mobility just for smoother clear, consider casting for more DPS, Pierce free, Valenta's propulsion, and Atalos bloodletting for more DPS, and just way to convert mana to life in the cost of the skill. Now in custom crit, I'm using elemental weakness. I'm still experimenting a bit with despair, but elemental weakness seems to be working better to help me get more, basically more damage on spark, which helps getting more custom crits. Elemental weakness is being supported by Doedra's Undoing, which is being supported by ritualistic cures and spell cascade and life tap. Cast on element is using arc. I'm using Rakata's flow, but I'm pretty sure you can use something cheaper, something else. I'm still in experimenting phase, but Rakata's flow seems to be working the best. Also using bondless energy so we can get more arcs. Then efficiency 2, which is kind of important because a high level of arc is gonna be costing a lot of life. And obviously life tap. Now we're using mana remanents with harmonic remanents 2 and remanents potency 1 for the same reason, just to help me sustain my mana and, well, which is basically my life, so I need to wait to actually properly get it back when I'm getting hit. Blasphemy is being supported by temporal chains, Diala's Desire, which I'm gonna go in a second why, magnified area 2, and ritualistic cures. I'm also using Orb of Storm with Overabundance 1, magnified area 2, prolonged duration 2, efficiency 2, and life tap. Now, for my gear, I'm not using the cheapest setup. This is actually pretty expensive, so for stuff, I'm not sure I could probably get much better stuff later on, but I'm kind of short on divines. But what's important is using gain damage as extra fire and as extra cold, which helps create basically the loop of custom crit and custom alignment. For rings, I'm probably not using the most optimal rings. I'm probably gonna change the base one for maximum mana, maximum life, and I'm gonna replace cold with percent mana just to help me survive. This is second ring. This is my amulet, which I'm probably gonna also replace with the amulet with spirit base implicit. For boots are one of the most important part of the build that actually helps with Diala's Desire, because Diala's Desire is needs to be exploding straight away. So curses have no activation delay. That's the most important part of the build that actually helps with everything. So those boots are actually mandatory. Everything else is optional, but highly recommended. We're using Tribal Vertex Mask with increased cost efficiency gem in it, which is kind of important, obviously. Also, equipment has no attribute requirements, which helps me get more mana on talent tree, blah blah blah. I'm using Grand Regalia with 14 spirit per socket field, which is another way for me to help actually sustain all the stuff I needed, like spirit-wise. We're also using 10% to elemental resistances per socket field, which with so many units I'm using, it helps me get my resistances capped. I'm using Headhunter. I'm sure you could do this build with I'm not sure what's the other belt that lets you overleech life as an energy shield, but I'm using a Headhunter because it's just nice. For gloves, I'm using Atsiri Acuity Molded Meats, which makes life leech from critical hit instant, which again, it helps with arc, basically filling my life constantly and instantly. It helps getting more custom crits and more custom alignments. Obviously, we need to use another 25% increased life cost efficiency, which is pretty expensive, but it helps a lot. Then, and I'm pretty sure that's everything in terms of my gear. Flasks are not as important. Right now I'm using, I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce it. We're using this flask to help me basically passively regenerate mana all the time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for gear. Now, moving to a talent tree. Important part for me in this build is Sanguine Tides, because how it works is we're gaining 1 life flask charge per 4% last spent, with 4% life spent, which means we're basically constantly generating charges, and on hitting enemy with the flask is at full charges, we're getting 40% of its charges as 1% of damage gain as physical. Per 3 seconds, for 3 seconds per charges consumed this way, so we're getting a lot of damage as physical that way. Obviously, we're using spell damage leech as life, and I myself went just for more critical hit chance and critical bonus per 50% life, per 50 life. So this is for my ascendancy. In terms of talent tree itself, I went for a lot of critical hit damage and a lot of critical hit chance. from important part, I'm also kind of gonna get another cost efficiency, but that's for later. For important parts, I'm using, for example, Milestone Eye Time Lost Sapphire, which is not optimal, but it's quite okay. It helps me get some more stuff. We using from Nothing Diamond with conduit can be allocated without being connected to a tree. That way, we can use some of the talents in here to get more DPS and basically more energy, which helps me reduce some of the talents I had to like instead use to get more energy. Obviously, we're using like all the increases we can get for more triggered DPS, for more meta skill generation energy and stuff like that. Another requirement for me was meta skills have 20% increased efficiency. And from other important stuff, obviously we're using the Eldritch Battery with Mind over Matter. I had to take a Profane Commander for 4% increased spirit, but as soon as I'm gonna change my amulet for spirit implicit based, I'm gonna get a proper, I think about 7 points back. We also using Control of Metamorphosis, so we can allocate all those 4 nodes for more DPS without them being connected to a tree. Obviously, I can reach Mind over Matter right now, but as soon as I'm gonna get different amulet, I'm gonna unspec those points, so that's why we need Control of Metamorphosis in here. All other jewels are basically for increased DPS. I'm using Heart of the Well Diamond, which is probably not the best one. I could probably get a better version, but again, this is kind of a budget version of a build right now. Well, budget. It's pretty expensive anyway. And I'm pretty sure I went over everything that's important. You can find everything else on my Poe Ninja, which is gonna be pinned in the first comment and also in the video description. If you have any more questions about the build, because I'm pretty sure my explanation is a bit over the place, which again, I'm not a build creator, so if you have any more questions, you can hit me up in the comments. If you have any suggestions how to improve the build, you can also hit me in the comments and help me improve on this build. You can also find me live on Twitch most of the days, probably like around 7-8 p.m. British time for 3-4 hours. Fridays, Saturdays, I'm streaming most of the day, so you can find me there for some more questions live if you want to ask. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. And again, sorry if the explanation is a bit over the place. I'm not a build creator. This is the first video I ever made. But yeah, hey, it is what it is. Thanks, guys, and have fun.